There's a fish right there. Oh, this is a... Oh my god, guys. That's a giant. That is a giant. Yes! Yes! Let's freaking go, guys. Let's freaking go. All right, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So today we are back at Lake Hodges. So this whole entire morning I thought I forgot my GoPro. I go into my bag and there it is. So the only thing that I don't have though is my external power bank. So won't be able to do any kind of footage all day. So I think today's kind of format is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to give you guys a real life experience of how fishing is in real time without the editing or anything like that. Just straight raw footage, unedited, just because I don't have that capability to actually run this camera all day. So all right, guys, hope you guys like this format. I don't really know what's gonna happen within the next 30 minutes, but I guess we'll see together. So all right, guys, stay tight and hopefully we'll catch some fish. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Just gonna cover water and try to get on some fish for you guys here. But basically just push the bank and you know, over here try to get as close to the rocks as possible. Then hopefully you could actually run across one. But there is a pocket right here, which last time the pattern was pockets. So let me actually try to get a cast inside there and maybe there might be one. But I'm trying to orient my boat so that we can basically go through this bank. Yeah, this is actually where I caught those other ones, the same exact little pocket, but a little too close right now. Hopefully I'll actually be able to get on some for you guys, or else this is just going to be a really boring video. Basically just fell on my butt just now. This format's a little strange for me because if I'm not talking, then it's just gonna be a little weird. But basically, I'm trying to cover as much water as possible, give myself the best kind of possibility to get on some fish. I paused there just because I thought I got a bite there, but I think I just hit some structure. Yeah, there's carp busting all around me right now. Which you would think that if there's carp around, then there should be some bass around, but you never know. Carp are active, but the bass aren't, unfortunately. Not on the top water, at least. Tried to get on some top water fish this morning and I couldn't get on any. All the fish that I've caught thus far have just been on this money badger. So we'll stick to that pattern. hitting a lot of structure right here, which is great, but that's when you know your crankbait is actually at the right depth, is when you're hitting bottom and you're deflecting off that structure down there. One of the things that happens when your crankbait is digging too deep is that it'll actually dig down into the mud or dig down into the bottom, and basically it'll start crab walking to you know, crab walking for lack of better terms, but basically it'll just start skipping from the side instead of coming in straight towards you while you're reeling. It'll actually go sideways because that bill is just digging into the bottom. It can't really go deeper than what it already is, so it's just going to go to the side. That's one way that you could tell if you're fishing your crankbait at the right depth. Obviously, if you have sonar and stuff like that, then you could gauge your lure choices by whatever depth your fish finder is saying right now, because right now we're at 8 feet of water, 6 feet of water now, and this money badger actually goes down to about 7 feet, so somewhat appropriate. You always want to try to get a crankbait that's a little bit deeper diving than the depth that you're fishing, just because when you are fishing a crankbait, there's a lot of variables such as line diameter, the type of line that you are using, and then the speed of your retrieve obviously is going to be another factor, and then the biggest one I think is going to be distance. So when manufacturers, they put the depth of their baits on the package, usually that is the maximum depth, and when you are working a lure, it doesn't get to that maximum depth immediately. Like, it still has to dive down, and it still needs time to actually go down and work. So distance is one of the biggest things when it comes to crankbaits. Like right now, because I'm casting so short, I'm probably only going down to about 4 or 5 feet. But if I were to bomb this thing and then keep my rod tip closer to the water, then I could probably maximize that lure's depth capability. But because I'm not, that's perfectly fine. And that's actually another thing too, is the placement of your rod tip. You can actually manipulate how deep your crankbait is diving by simply orienting your rod tip. Look at that carp right there. Orienting your rod tip in a specific manner. So if your rod tip is up high, then it won't dive down to where you think it might dive down. Then if you keep your rod tip low, it'll actually dive down deeper than what you'd expect. So as of right now, I'm trying to maximize the depth of this crankbait along with the short cast that I make, and I'm trying to get this crankbait as deep as I possibly can with the amount of distance that I have, which isn't a lot. So there's definitely a bunch of carp over here. I think I've seen like 3 or 4 carp, like pretty decent ones too. Pretty decent sized carp over here. Same thing as usual, just try to get this as close to the bank as possible. Then just straight retrieve. Try to change up your tempo a little bit every now and then. Maybe a slower retrieve, faster retrieve. Give it a little twitch every now and then, pause it, you know. Try not to do a just straight retrieve. Try to break that cadence as much as you can. Try to target high percentage areas too, so there's a lot of riprap here, there's a lot of smaller chunk rock, but there's also these little submerged bushes that are along the shoreline here. So I'm trying to target those areas specifically, see if maybe there's a fish kind of relating to it or not. So far nothing. Eventually, probably gonna switch over to something that isn't so fast once I get over to the deeper areas. But probably go for like a drop shot or something a little finessey. Maybe just go back to a jig or something, a little finesse jig. Try to get more towards this chunk rock. Orient my boat specific way. And 9 feet of water right here, and the water temp is 61. Not a bad temperature for these fish to be active. If there are any fish over here, that is. We're getting a little bit closer to that nicer chunk rock that I kind of want to go towards. Yeah, it kind of sucks because the 3 fish that I caught were pretty decent ones too. Not anything, I mean, they weren't giants or anything, but basically every fish that I catch I think is a giant. little 3.5 pounders I think are giants. So to be fair, my PB isn't even 4 pounds, so I get excited about decent sized fish. Can't blame me. this thing doing? There's a fish right there. A small guy. A little small guy, but we'll take him. If it was a tournament, he'd keep. Alright. Here we go. There's one. Let's see if we can grab any more. That was like a little buck. They're starting to stage up. Basically, I tossed it over here on this little branch right here that I'm literally sitting on top of, so I kind of burned this spot out. So if that's the case, we're just going to continue covering water here. There's another branch right here that's sticking out right in front of me, right there, but I kind of already passed it. Come on. What the heck is going on? Okay. Well, that's a problem. My bait got all knotted up, so I'm gonna have to tie this off. Let's see here. You know, this is the realities of fishing right here. You know, you see the videos that I post and the videos that, you know, all the other good anglers post. It's always, you know, we try to cut straight to the good parts of catching the fish and everything like that, but we really do spend hours on end out here trying to get the right content and everything, trying to get the right stuff. And you know, we could spend anywhere between, you know, anywhere up to 10 hours like I do to just make one video, like make one 15-minute video, you know. So this is just to kind of give you guys a little bit more of a perspective of what, you know, really goes on while we're out here on the water. You know, not everything is cut and dry like, you know, the videos may portray. So this is a knot that I tie with all of my lures. Not really a knot, but it's more of a cinch. I forgot what it was called, but basically it's kind of like a Palomar knot. Set 4. Make sure that this is good. Go over our finger, 1, 2, 3. Back into this loop here. Bring it back up with the knot. Okay. All right. Just like that, we are back in the game. Let's go ahead and push our way back out. Coming across some more submerged branches, so that is a high probability, high chance of a fish being there. High percentage places that you want to throw towards. Try to be the most productive. I actually met a group of some cool cats out here. Two guys, Chris and I think Armano. I'm sorry, man, I forgot your name already, but pretty cool cats, you know. Brought they were coming out here. This was Chris's first time out here, and then Armano's second time out here, but they weren't aware of the riprap over here, this you know, where all the rocky structure is down over here. So I actually pulled them over here from the boat launch. I had a nice conversation with them. You know, they go fishing in Baja a lot, and I guess the fisheries out there are pretty dang good. Told them next time they go, hit me up. I wouldn't mind going out there and getting on some Mexican bass, especially if they're not really too pressured like they are down here. See if we could catch any more. Now we're getting into the spots that have a little bit more of a pocketed area. So see if they're still staging inside these little pockets here. That was a good cast right there. Fortunately, nobody home. It's fine. Keep on going. Oh, that is gonna be a bad cast. Oh, guess not. Went through that brush there pretty easily. There's one. Oh, there was one. There was one. My drag. What the heck? My drag got loose. Oh man. Well, there was one. A little tiny guy, but still. I don't know what was up with that. Like my drag just came loose. Usually I don't really set the hook on my crankbait fish. Kind of just lean into it and put pressure down. But that one I couldn't even lean into it just because the drag was so loose. I tried to pull back on that little tiny fish and basically spooled me. Undid itself. Guess that's a lesson. Lessons learned right there. Make sure you guys check your drag. Right. That might have been number 2. Could have been a little small guy, but still better than nothing. Got to make this video somewhat entertaining for you guys. I'm actually choosing to power fish because I don't think you guys would want to sit here and watch me fish a drop shot for 15-30 minutes. But depending on how the bite goes today, that is very well might be something that I'm gonna do. Obviously not while the camera's on, because I don't think we're gonna have that much time. Basically just gonna run the camera until it dies. Right there should be a good cast. No, nobody home. That's where I caught those other ones. Jeez. This is a pretty high percentage place right here. It's just a matter of whether or not I'll be able to maximize this lure's capability here because I'm so close. I might just have to come back to it. Get reoriented here. So from here, I'm actually going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to go to a deeper diving crankbait. Go over to the Spro Little John DD. This guy dives down. This guy dives down to about 8 to 12 feet, I think. But I'm at 13 feet right now, so that is the reason why I wanted to change it up a little bit. Then once we get a little bit closer to a more shallower area, I'll probably switch back over to the Money Badger. Same thing with this one, it's all about distance, diameter of line, orientation of the rod tip. That all plays a factor in how deep this crankbait is going to go. So right now we're sitting at 18 feet of water. Go ahead and throw the Money Badger back out. Getting a little bit closer to shallower chunk rock. I think the presentation of this crankbait versus the Spro Little John is the fact that, one, this is the Money Badger, it has a wider wobble, so it displaces a lot more water, And then with the Little John, it's a very tight wobbling crankbait. Usually good for colder water temperatures when the fish are a little lethargic and their movements are nice and tight. But with this kind of water temperature, I mean 62 degree water temps, probably not the right kind of action to be throwing this time of year. And another thing that might be playing a factor is the color. Because the blaze color is really flamboyant, it's easier to see in this darker water clarity. Let's see. Okay, so now we're getting back into the areas that the money badger will definitely shine in. Let's go ahead and grab a 3-4 pounder for you guys here. So I got onto something. Wasn't a fish. Oh no. Oh wow. Well, I just lost my crankbait. Oh man. So if that's the case, I'm gonna have to throw out the Little John so that I don't waste you guys' time trying to tie on a bait, especially in this kind of area. This is a pretty prime area to where these fish should be. No, I'm gonna have to tie on something else. Gonna have to tie on something else. Okay. So let's go ahead and see what I have in the tackle box here. I want to keep it fairly small. Deeper diving still. Let's throw out this guy here. Throw out this guy here. Or maybe I could throw out the ATV. I'll throw out this guy. So this is the Mega Bass Super Z1, and this is a tiny little crankbait. Tiny little crankbait. He's not going to dive as deep as the Money Badger, but I'm hoping that the smaller profile will get these fish to commit to this bait. That's really I think the biggest thing is the profile of the bait. Size of the bait is what plays a big factor, especially here. You know, Dustin and I, we've gone on some pretty good ones with smaller baits, and his technique is obviously a lot better than mine when it comes to these smaller baits, but he has graciously shared that secret with us. So hopefully that will pay dividends allow us to catch a little bit more fish here. Yeah, I could toss this guy out a little bit further than the money badger, because the money badger is pretty light. This is a decent weighing bait here for how small it is. I think this is like a quarter ounce bait. Oh, I'm not trying to do that. Oh yeah, the weight transfer system on this thing is pretty good. You'd actually hear it before you cast. I've never thrown this bait out before. And you can hear the transfer system here, watch. I don't know if you guys heard that. Yeah, you could definitely hear that transfer system for sure. There's a fish right there. Oh, this is a... Oh my god, guys. That's a giant. That is a giant. That's a giant. Holy crap. That's a giant. That is a giant. Come on, come on, come on. Yes! Yes! Let's freaking go, guys. Let's freaking go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is a nice fish, and this lure just popped off. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that freaking tank. Look at this freaking tank, guys. Wow. Yeah, mouth. That is a nice size fish right there. Nice and heavy. Let's get a weight on him. Wow. I can't believe that I actually got that. Okay. So, pounds. Zero it out. Wow, just caught my PB with you guys. 4 1/4, guys. 4.27. Let's do that one more time. Oh, that's great. That is great, guys. 4.27, my PB. Oh man, glad you guys came along with this one. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna stop the GoPro, see if these guys could take a picture for me. All right, guys, that's my new PB right here, 4 1/4. Good girl. There you go. Beautiful. Wow. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys were there for that. That is insane. That was like, what, the 3rd cast with the mega bass? 3rd or 4th cast with this guy? Oh man, that was fun. All right, let's go. Let's grab another one. Let's grab another one. saw a fish just cruise right here. Wasn't a giant, but he was cruising. Finally broke my 4 pounds. Jeez, took long enough. Oh man, that's exciting. That is exciting. Let's see. And I'm pretty sure you guys could hear the weight transfer system in this lure right before I cast. It's actually a really nice, sophisticated system. I mean, you could actually hear the internal weight kind of move in right before you cast. So like, listen. Hopefully you guys heard that. That's a nice, sophisticated system right there. I'm honestly kind of speechless after catching that 4-pounder. I mean, granted, like I said, guys, that's obviously, you guys have probably caught bigger fish and everything like that, but I mean, once you get that PB, it's pretty dang exciting, especially if you've been hunting it for so long. I was catching so many 3.5s and stuff like that. I knew that if it wasn't gonna break 4, then it wasn't my PB, and that That was the first one that broke 4. There's another fish. Smaller fish. Smaller fish. Tiny little guy. Yeah. Tiny little guy. Little tiny guy. Alright, now the wind is pushing over here, so from here I should probably see if there's any kind of bottom fish that I can, you know, the fish that are kind of stuck to the bottom. See if there's any fish like that that are in the mood to play. See if there's anything, maybe anything deeper diving that we can get up to. Actually, let's throw out this guy here. Basically try to bottom hop this guy. I haven't caught a fish bottom hopping a lipless yet, so I think it'll only be a matter of time before it happens. Bottom hopping right now. Oh man, thought that was a fish. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even know what to expect by bottom hopping this bait, because it's a different kind of technique that I'm not familiar with at all. But basically, I'm just going to drop it down, let it flutter, drop it down. The great thing about this rod, the Phenix Feather, is that it's so sensitive that you could actually feel when this bait flutters, and you basically give it like, let it flutter maybe 4 or 5 times and then kill it, let it drop. And essentially what that was supposed to provoke is a feed response, essentially, when that bait kind of goes down and it drops all of a sudden, because this is a heavy bait. I think this is a 3/4 ounce bait that I have on this. See that, where it's the 1/2 ounce, I forgot which one it was, but essentially we're trying to get a reaction bite with this. Let it flutter down, rip it up, let it flutter down. Okay. So nothing with that. Probably gonna mess around with it a little bit more, but starting to run out of GoPro battery life here. So I want to try to get something that will be a little productive. See what the spinnerbait can do for us. And I don't have a lot of confidence with the spinnerbait. I think you guys know that. Today was supposed to be a bait challenge, actually. It's supposed to be a spinnerbait, chatterbait, you know, jig, basically a skirted lure bait challenge. But when I thought that I left my GoPro at home, didn't even think to check my bag. Then on top of that, it forgot my external power bank, so definitely wasn't going to. I mean, I'm glad that I recorded that, because I knew for some reason I had a gut feeling that today was gonna be a day that I'm gonna want to record. And you know, thankfully I actually have my GoPro, even though we're not gonna be filming all day. You know, I was able to get my PB out on film and then, you know, share it with you guys. So definitely grateful for that. Basically right now I'm just trying to get familiar with the spinnerbait. I know that this is the Berkley spinnerbait and the shad color with a Yamamoto Seiko as a trailer. This is in a 1/2 ounce, so pretty heavyweight lure. But with all of my reels being so fast, because all of my reels are 8 gears other than my DCs. This DCs are maybe like 6/8 or like 7/2, something like that. So fairly, you know, I would say it's still pretty quick, because the inches per rotation of the DCs versus, you know, my other SLXs is about 3 inches per turn. So I mean, I guess it's pretty significant, but Either way, what I was trying to get at was I wanted to get a bigger spinner bait because it'll force me to fish a little bit slower. Not too slow to the point where, you know, it's excruciating, but slower than normal. Now, I could still cover a ton of water with the spinner bait, but it'll force me to kind of slow down before, you know, I go over some fish. And I think with the lakes down here, especially Otay with all the toolies and all the reeds, getting proficient with the spinner bait or the chatter bait is gonna be a must. I just don't throw it that much, to be honest. Don't throw it as often as I should, I guess. Alright guys, so it is we're almost dead here on the GoPro. This would be the last cast, but basically I did stop the GoPro every now and then, just kind of out of habit, really, out of muscle memory. I stop the GoPro every time a significant change or a significant event happens. That way when I go back and edit, I can actually just skip all of, you know, all the parts that I don't need and just go straight to the good parts and edit out the rest of it. It's a lot easier for me to find those things when I cut the video. So just pro tip for you guys that also edit and, you know, film your adventures on the water. Just pro tip from myself. I learned that with the amount of editing and stuff that I do. I basically found a workflow that works for me. But yeah guys, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video, do an outro before the battery dies. All right guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you guys for joining me along. I'm really glad that I actually caught my PB on film. This video is going to be a little bit longer than usual, just because I wanted to give you guys that, you know, real-time experience of what we actually experience on the water on a, you know, on a normal day. It's not a back-to-back catch, and if it is, those are really good days, but it's very rare that we actually have those days. A lot of it is a lot of repetition, a lot of it is trying to figure things out, going to spots and changing out lures, whatever the case may be. But hopefully you guys get a better understanding of, you know, what we anglers kind of go through on a normal fishing day. But all right guys, so thank you guys for joining me along. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, joining me for my adventures on the water, and I'll see you guys in the next one.